What's going on, people? Welcome back to another Sinclair TV. Back again this afternoon. I've got Tom. Big up to you, Tom. How are we doing, mate?
Glad to be here. Doing well.
Finally. Just it's been a while. It's been about a month or so. We'll try to get you on live, and here we go. And yeah. So, guys, if you like the video, like what you see, please like, subscribe. If you'd like to do a super chat, then it's open as well. Click on that and just give a little channel's worth. And if you'd like to become a member, it's just 99p. So before we go on to it, let's go on to some house rules as well. Hi to people. Please remember to keep comments respectfully. No all caps duplicates. No discussing or promoting other channels unless given permission by me. Allow mod to mod while you enjoy the vast show. And let's go on to some comments before we start. Big up to Leslie. I hope you're okay. And this is a Global Mag show where we interview people, Toon fans all over the world. And I've done others as well, so keep your eyes for that. It's in there as well. And hi to Jonathan. I hope you're okay. I hope Kate is fine as well. And let's say hi to Jonathan. Right, Tom, I mean, you're based in Philadelphia and a big Newcastle fan. And how long have you been in Newcastle for? What made you support Newcastle United? And if you just tell the chat.
Well, I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, but I live now in northern Wisconsin. Been here for a long time. So it's all, I'm in the middle of the forest and the lakes up here. And why a Newcastle fan? Well, 170 years ago, my forebears emigrated from northwest England. And my father, back in 1978, went back to start writing the genealogy to kind of trace the family tree. And he brought me with me. So my first Toon match was 1978. I called him my uncle, but he's a distant cousin from Gateshead, and that he took my dad and I to the match. Yeah. Newcastle was a lot different then. It was smokier, a little grittier, but just as much energy. So we went to we were in the old Gallowgate side where I had my shoe peed on.
Oh, love it.
And then at the same time, we had my club team. We went over to play some football. So it was at the same time. So my dad and I were there in the winter, and then the following summer we were there playing some club football throughout England, getting our butts kicked pretty much. So we finished up near Newcastle, and the club was real nice to us and nice to me. So that's where it was. So 1978, and then for really the next 20 years, 18 years, it was very tough to follow any English football in the United States.
Yeah.
So my dad went over in the 80s to do some more genealogy, but I didn't get to watch any football. And then my company bought another company that was based in Newcastle, and I was flying up to Newcastle. The flight was delayed in Heathrow, and some Geordies started giving me a lot of crap because I was wearing a Liverpool top. Sorry, because I like Carlsberg beer, right? So they asked me how much they had to buy for me to flush the top down the loo, and then the next morning I woke up. I learned the word mortal. I know what that means, to be mortal.
Yeah.
And in Newcastle without my top. And this one was mailed to me by the same Geordies to replace the top. So this was signed by Alan Shearer since. But so I became really pretty passionate. I think it's 1996. And then I think I've been half a dozen matches since then, usually about every other year, maybe more than that, to come to Newcastle to watch the matches at St. James. But we also, my kids and I, went to see him play in West Brom, and I've seen him play around the country too. And in 2012, it was pretty exciting. Yeah. Then the internet really started to get more popular, and we were able to watch all the matches. And really, since about 2012 to 2016, it was tough to watch some of those matches. But I got to Rafa, really lit the fire. I became incredibly passionate after that. And here we are. So, so I've been first match 1978, maybe a dozen matches since then, maybe more. I don't know. And love Newcastle, love the area.
Fantastic. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, I mean, I've seen some great Newcastle games in my time as well. And, you know, back then, sort of things. Well, we've been in the second division for about 5-6 years. We got promoted again. But Arthur Cox got us promoted. Like, you know, we had some managers, Gordon Lee, one of them as well. And a lot of people just didn't like him at all whatsoever. But Jim Harvey, way back in what was the Fairs Cup in 1969, and also as well, and got us to the FA Cup final as well. I mean, Alan as well. He's a history as well. Big up to Alan and Leslie as well. And she was there in 1978.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you go back to like in the early 80s and that as well, 80s as well, we had players like Paul Gascoigne, Kenny Wharton, and Kevin Keegan joined us for 2 seasons, 82 to 84 season. The first goal against QPR didn't get us up, but the second season, he got us up, and Arthur Cox got us up as well. What a time to be a Newcastle fan in '84 when Keegan got us up, and that was it.
Yeah, but you're missing the very best player to ever put on the stripes, in my humble opinion, is about my height, Peter Beardsley. Amazing. So with Beardsley, when he teamed up with Keegan, the world changed, didn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. Any questions for Tom? Let me know, and then I'll pass it on to him as well. And yeah, but how big is the Newcastle support in Philadelphia? Is it getting bigger, or is it the same? Because we're going to America in the pre-season as well. We're going to go to Philadelphia. I think I might be wrong on this. Could be New Jersey. I think I could be wrong, but I think you got one more as well. And how big is Newcastle United in America or around?
Yeah. So every major city has a Toon Army. So I'm a member of Toon Army Minnesota, in addition to Philadelphia, in addition to Atlanta. So the matches are going to be in Philadelphia, Atlanta, then in New Jersey. You're correct. So the 23rd is at Aston Villa with the in Philadelphia, and so the Philadelphia, all Philadelphia fans are incredibly passionate. I had season tickets for the Eagles for years, in addition to that. So love the Eagles. Yeah, really passionate. But I would say out of all the chapters that I've been to, and I've been, maybe because I travel quite a bit with my business, I think I've been 20 different cities to watch Newcastle with the lads. Is I love the guys from Minnesota, Toon Army Minnesota, for the cup match. I think there's 70 of us there, maybe at a pub. So we meet at Brid's Pub that's down in Center City, Minneapolis. And Toon Army Minnesota is founded by a guy named Keith and Keith Marioka. And Keith really just wanted the club. He chose Newcastle, I think he told me, just because he wanted the club furthest away from London. And kind of chose that. But he's about as passionate as they come. And we got some Geordies that are there, whether it's with Lee, Adam, John, etc., that are at the matches. John Tudor comes to a lot of our matches with his wife. So it's nice to have actually the former player that comes there. But it's a real bunch of wonderful people that go in to watch the match. I travel with my wife about 3 hours each direction to go watch the match with them. So it's like an away match, every one for me when I go down to watch it with them. Lovely people. We have a great time, a lot of crack, and support the Toon. Yeah.
Absolutely. Check out Adam Pearson as well, Lee Lloyd as well. Those two will be there in America. I can guarantee you, even Time Signed Life as well. They'll be there as well. I'd love to go, but I don't think I'm going to get time off for it anyway, which is sad. But next year, if we're back in America, you just never know. So, and another thing is as well, right? I mean, I don't even know when the pre-season finish is going to be. So I can't book. I tell my boss, I'm not going to book off anything until I know when the pre-season finishes are. But then again, I'll take a risk because if I try to book it off, I'm not going to get time off. Gutted. Love John Tudor. I mean, he was really good. It's just a shame how it ended, by the way. And also some, a lot of things going on with his life in a minute. And I hope he comes through it as well. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, we look at it, right? I mean, like Newcastle's doing well this season. They had a fantastic season, Newcastle United. 4th this season under Eddie Howe. First off, let's talk about Eddie Howe for your perspective. What do you think of Eddie Howe? How job he did? And what's going on? What do you think of Eddie Howe? What sort of job he's done?
We hit the mother load between the ownership and the selection of Eddie Howe. Can there be a better guy around? He's honest, he's truthful, he's engaging. He gets the guys working. I've never seen, I think, the morale in the locker room of any club, anywhere, any sport that's better than Newcastle United this past year, and that's a tribute to Eddie. So the fact that he's gotten, name it, not only Cher and Longstaff and Joe Linton and Miggy and Murphy all playing out of their boots, but look what he's done with really solid, good players as well. Trippier's never played any better in his career. If you look at the team that we have, it's really fantastic. Bruno never played as well as he did last year. I think it's the communication, the purpose, the energy, the fitness is all fantastic. But I think the best thing about Eddie is his honesty.
Yeah.
Is his forthrightness. And that, after Steve Bruce and some of the other charlatans that we had, what a wonderful bloke to have leading our team. Makes you proud to have him. Yeah.
And it's not even a Geordie. You don't have to be a Geordie to be a cracking manager.
Well, he's more ready now,
it's working, isn't it? You're right. I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's a southern lad, and he's from Portsmouth, I think he's from. But at the end of the day, big up to Eddie Howe. He's come here. I didn't know what to expect from him, but he's done wonderful. For a small club like Bournemouth to a massive club in like Newcastle, I tell you something, he just thinks another job to him, and he's done it. So big up. So let's go on to Alan as well. He was indeed Mr. Little, absolutely right. That's very true, Les. There's the cost as well. Figure the COVID cost to try and get that money back. Wow. And big up to Mama Flossie. I hope you're having a good day and cooking and and the rest of it as well. If saying hi to Mama. And let's go on to them as well. And the team that team was awesome. Absolutely right. And you know what it is, right, Eddie? I mean, look, he's come on a 3-year deal, 2.5-year deal. Now it's on a long-term contract. And I think this guy's going to be destined for the England job in a couple of years' time. I hope it's not the case, but I hope he stays in Newcastle for a long time. He's got to win something first before he can think about England. Because at the end of the day, right, whoever poaches Eddie Howe will have to pay the British record to price him at Newcastle United. I don't know how much it is, but it's going to be way over 40 to 50 million quid to get this guy priced away, and England won't do it.
Yeah, I hope he does, and I hope there's lots of trophies that are brought to St. James before Eddie would depart. But
yeah,
he's got young kids. I think he really does love the area. I heard his wife and kids love the area. What's not to like about Tyneside, right? So everybody would like to manage their home country, and sure, Eddie would have that aspiration, but he's still a young man. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. At least we hope not. And like I said, he's the man to bring trophies to Tyneside.
100%. 100%. And I'll tell you what it is, right? I mean, with Eddie Howe, he's the best, for me, I think he's the best young manager in the country. People say Mikel Arteta, but this guy is the best young manager in the country. Do you know what I mean? English that is as well.
Yeah.
And let's go on to some more comments as well. That team was awesome. Thank you, Mama. Are you going to invite us all to America on your show? If I ever go to America, right? If I ever go to America, I find a place to do a live stream, and I'll let you guys know, Alan. And yes, I will invite you. Of course, I will. But I'm going to Rangers in a month's time, and I'm going to do a vlog there as well. Big up to Gareth from Cardiff. I hope you're okay, mate. I hope you're having a good weekend. And and touch on Eddie as well. I mean, you look at what he's done to players. He improves players every week, like Joe Linton, Jacob Murphy. He plays a style of football that everyone's love to see. It's attacking, it's exciting, the pressing's great, right? 4-3-3, and it's just kind of going no wrong for him this season.
Yeah, I think what we struggled with the 4-3-3 was breaking down someone with 8, 9 people behind the ball, which was frequent, 10 or 11 people in some cases. So the fact that he was willing to kind of switch up to a 4-2-3-1 in times, maybe to break it down a little bit better, to play Isak behind Wilson, I thought was something that was really interesting, but more of a number 10 role. So I think 4-3-3, yeah, that's his style. He's playing on the front foot. He's going to do the high press. But I think that he's got some things up his sleeve for breaking down those lower level teams that are going to sit back 10 men behind the ball. And 4-2-3-1, I think, might be the answer to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got to play 4-2-3-1. We have to bring in a 6, a number 6, and a number 8 as well. But we're talking about that as well. We've been linked to. We spoke about our behind the scenes about Nicola Barella as well. And let's be real. I'm not going to lie, but 50 million ain't going to be enough to price them away. You look at Declan Rice. They want West Ham was 100 mil for him at least, 100 to 120 million at least. Yeah. We look at Caicedo as well. Brighton wants 100 million as well because of how much Declan Rice is worth. Barella is a Euro Cup winner with Italy, right? And also Serie A title winner as well. Inter Milan will want around 80 million quid minimum. And they're not going to let him go until that valuation is met. Now, it's up to Newcastle now to pay that money. Because for me, I mean, we've gone from Barella down to Tyler Adams and Brennan Aronson as well. And both Americans from Leeds, right? We do not want to go from Barella to those two. We've got to raise the standards, though, because we're Champions League football now, right? And we've got to compete with the bigger names. What's your take on that one?
Well, Inter needs money now, right? I think they're 145 million quid in the hole or whatever that is. So they need money now. And their valuation, I thought, was 85 million euros is what I read this morning, not quid. So between 85, maybe 75, 70 million pounds would get Barella. That would be good business. That would be fantastic business. If you could get Barella and a Madison for 100, right, which is possible. That would be the two quality elite players that Eddie wants, and they would give the team much needed versatility and depth in the midfield. So I think it would be really, really good business to get him. And I think it's doable. We hear 75 million. I think that came from one of the journalists, and I heard up to 150 million. So it's doable for sure for where we are in our trajectory.
Yeah, I think James Manson's going to be 55 million quid because they know they've got to pay Norwich a percentage as well, 15% back. So they want to try and fleece us or Tottenham as much as possible for 55 mil. But what let's have to realise, he's got 1 year left on his contract, number one. And number two, they're in the Championship now. Do you know what I mean? So Leicester haven't got that bargaining power. They need to be careful. Like West Ham, Leicester needs to be careful, trying not to be too greedy. Otherwise, what will happen is, I think that they could end up getting James leaving for nothing, and then they're going to lose out altogether. So with Norwich.
Yeah, well, Tottenham didn't do any favors, right? Offering 50 million for both Madison and Barnes. That was what a insult that would be. I think we're saying 30, 35 million. They want 50, 55 million. Hopefully we'll meet halfway at 45, which is the same money that we paid for Gordon, right? Gordon's kind of a work in progress. You're betting on the future. Madison's here now. It's absolutely good money spent. So I'd be really excited to get Madison. Really, really excited.
Yeah. Would he be my first choice? Would I take him over to Szoboszlai? I'm not sure. But if Szoboszlai comes in, that doesn't get us Madison. We get Madison first. It may not get a Szoboszlai, but we'll see. Question for you, Tom, from Alan. Big up to you, Alan. How many new signings do you think will come in the summer?
Probably about 5. I think there'd be 2 real quality ones, 3 to build up the side. Some get the squad bigger. So everybody knows we need a left back, something that has a little bit more pace going forward. Not that Dan Burns done anything wrong. He's been fantastic in that role.
Yeah.
If LaSalle's goes, there's rumor about him maybe going to Luton or Forest. But we still need a nice young center back. Make sure that we have some cover there. 2 midfielders. And then you can't go into the Premier League with only 2 strikers. You need to have a third striker. And whether that's someone young, upcoming that wouldn't mind being on the roster, getting fewer minutes. I think that's doable as well, but all strikers, are really, really expensive. So I'd say 5 we need for sure.
Yeah. could be right there. I'm going to take 5 as well. But at the end of the day, right, I mean, we need cover. As for Jamal Lascelles, I mean, if I'm Luton, if you're listening, take him. Please, just take him. Take him to Luton, man. He needs games. Do you know what I mean? And we're not going to get Kimi Yai because he's going to go off to Bayern Munich. So that's kind of breaking news yesterday that we kind of missed out on him and United as well. So, I mean, we're off to Bayern Munich. That is a shame because we could do with him. Do you know what I mean? But it goes to show about transfer rumors as well. You can't believe everything at all whatsoever. You just cannot. But let's go on to Leslie. Our owners have consistently said they will pay for the right players and the right price, no stipulated budget. And I think Leslie is right, by the way. She really is, because at the end of the day, have you got a budget? Well, they say 75 million quid, right? Budget, yeah. But for me, I don't think that's enough money. We need to spend about 200, 250 mil just to keep up with the elite clubs in the Premier League. But go on, Tom.
Yeah, I would just say financial fair play is a problem, right? We keep hearing about that. I don't know anybody who's the expert at it. But I read that our wages were 96% of revenue. I think that's what it is. So when the wages are that high, and I know we have more revenue coming in between the shirt sponsorship, the other sponsorship, the Champions League, more TV money coming in, but it's the wages. So it's not just the amount of money spent. It's the wages. And right now, I think our highest paid players, 120 quid a week, right? 120,000 quid. Yeah. So if you bump that up, and even if Bruno does 200, right, which would be a huge bump, a lot of other players are going to have to get that bump too, right? You got to keep that locker room. I think that's the most important thing, to keep the locker room happy. And we're not bringing any player unless it's truly an elite player that's going to be more than Bruno. So yeah, we can play the fee, but we also have to work out the personal terms, and the personal terms might be the harder one of the two. So that would be my caution with that. The more you pay, of course, the more wages you have to pay, and that's going to be an issue. Yeah,
absolutely. We're not going to get fleeced. But also as well, before we go on to Alan's comments as well, do you think the club, Newcastle, should tell us, and ask everyone as well, Leslie as well, should the club tell us and say, like the Burrell situation, just say, look, we'll not be speaking to him. This has been denied. The news is absolutely rubbish. Do you think the club should tell us? Yes or no? They should tell us then.
No way. The club won't tell us. The wonderful thing about this is nobody knows what the club is going to do. The fact that they have this cone of silence around St. James Park is wonderful. The fact that Eddie gives nothing away. I talked about how honest he is. He's certainly not honest at a press conference on the Friday before. We don't give anything away. So it's all conjecture. No one, I don't care what journalist says they claim to be in the know, or what website claims to be in the know. You and I both know, unless they're wearing the stripes and they got holding up the shirt in front of while shaking Eddie Howe's hand, we can't believe anything, right? You can't believe it. So we're going to be just fine. We have faith in the process.
So you're saying they should have to tell us anything then? They shouldn't have that chances then if there's news life on social media. Fair enough. Leslie won the day as well. Big up to Alan as well. I know it's not a one-off, but Madison for England against Malta did not impress me at all. 55 million quid? You have to pay a lot better than that, my guy. And just chatting to Les. And I'm not sold on Madison neither, Alan. Soboslai all day for her. And yes, Soboslai as well. And a bit of breaking news according to Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. Never expect to agree personal terms of Hayal. Now, the thing is, right, I mean, the Saudis, right, are coming. They're coming. They got Benzema. They want Neymar. They want Kante as well. So they've got a Kante as well. They want all these players to come. Ronaldo, they got Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Flipping neck. Do you think they go to Saudis for the?
Of course.
Yeah. Money. You pay your money. You pay your ticket.
I've been to Saudi for business and I loved it. So I there's nothing against Saudi Arabia, but if you want to play in front of the best fans and the best stadiums against the best teams in the world, you're not going to Saudi Arabia for their league. You're going there for a big paycheck, and maybe as Ronaldo is a stepping stone to get back into Europe because I had nothing else to do, and why not, collect whatever he's on, 700,000 pounds a week or whatever it was. So no one's going there except for the money. But of course, that's what they said about Trippier going to Newcastle too, didn't they? So what do we do? Yeah,
exactly. Just one from Jules. Get like this. It's just talking to Les. I'm good with the people who knows our true spend amount are Dan, Ashwood, Eddie Howe, and the owners. How it should be. Thank you very much, Jules. Thank you for that. And did I read this one? No, I didn't. The club won't engage with fans or transfer targets. They work professionally and methodically behind the scenes. And I can remember once upon a time, Andy Carroll's name's been linked, who's going to get him back. And the club put a statement out and said, that ain't true. See what you mean? John knows my opinion. Clubs should continue with the code of silence. What is the 4-digit code? I've got no idea. Got no idea. Thanks, Leslie. Jill said it's so much better. And John, give me a comment out. I tag Les. Thank you, Jules, for that one. Yeah, so it's just it is what it is. It's going to be exciting somehow as well. And I want to talk about Joe Lynn. We're going to talk about him tomorrow as well, by the way, on the World Tour podcast. I mean, look, when he played on the Steve Boost, he was absolutely useless there. 40 million quid. I think, get in the bin, my guy. Get this guy in the bin. Eddie Howe comes in, right, and says, yo, come. I want a word with you. Where's the best position, lad? He goes and tells Eddie, right, okay, if that's the best position, I'll put you there. 18 months on from that, he was won his first Brazilian cap. And guess what? He scored. How pleased can you be?
He's such a lovely guy, right? And the fact that he took so much stuff from all of us. So I always, there's a Geordie that lives nearby here that always been here for 5 years now, I guess. He said when I was giving Joe Linton a bunch of crap, we were watching the match together, and I was just saying that he was completely worthless. He said he's in the wrong position. This guy said he's in the wrong position. He needs to face the goal. He, when he was in Hoffenheim, he played, I think, on the left-hand side, kind of attacking in the channel there. And he's a great passer. So he's got this build that since then, I mean, now he's just a monster, right? I think it would scare me to death if I was facing Joe Linton on the pitch because he's a big man and he's an angry man the way he plays, but he's also really a talented man. I think he's maybe the best passer on the team. And I know that there's Bruno, and I knew that, but he's fantastic at hold-up play now. He's fantastic passing. He's a lovely bloke. He's the first person on my team sheet, maybe except for Pope. I mean, you always got to start with Pope, right? But I love him. I think he's just fantastic. He's my favorite player since Peter Beardsley. And, he's going to be up there. I just think he's an amazing success story from where he was and where he is. And I had this argument at a pub over the weekend. I think he could be he could be our third number 9 if we don't bring somebody in. I think that he has the confidence now to play in that position, not in front of Isak, not in front of Wilson. But if we were to have a shift change and we were to move some things out, if there's injuries, I think that he could fill into that spot, certainly better than Maximum that's been doing it. I think that he could do that spot. Yeah, and I'm going to get shit for that. I'm going to get some stuff for that, but I know that he could do it.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Linton's name should be on the team first on the team sheet every week. This guy is absolutely fantastic. He's going from I think have fun, right? Yeah. For a player that's going to struggle, relegation, didn't fancy it. Here we are. We're going to be Champions League, and Joe Linton's going to be a part of that as well. And talking off that as well, we're going to talk about season tickets. Plus, tomorrow's been a meltdown. But in your opinion, right? I mean, 3 tickets for the Champions League at 165 quid, 55 quid each. Yeah, there's been a lot of meltdown about this, right? I mean, what's your take on it, and what's your opinion on it? And is it too expensive?
Yeah, well, I compare it to tickets in the United States to go watch a football game, an American football game. It's cheap. It's cheap. I mean, to get that. So it's all relative. So I can't really comment on it. I'm not going to be involved with it. My kids and I are going over next season Tyneside for the Sheffield match. And if there's a championship, we'll try to work that in as well. And we'll pay what it takes to get the tickets because it's so special for us. But compared to the United States and, you know, the cost of going to the match or to a football game in the United States, an American football game in the United States, you're not bringing 4 people there for under $1,000 once you get parking and all the other stuff that goes with that. So it's hard for us in the U.S. to really comment on it just because with NBA is so expensive or American hockey is so expensive, football. So I think that if you're in the elite and you want to have big players with big wages, you want to have a stadium that's top class, if you want to have a training pitch, you want to have an academy, if you want to have a women's team that's going to be world class, you know what, it takes money. And we can't rely on the Saudis to bring it all in because of financial fair play. So it's pay for play. And it's not a human right to go to a match, although we'd all like to. I know that's kind of harsh. But I'm not bothered by it at all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, thing is, though, it's a lot cheaper if you go abroad to buy Champions League tickets. A lot cheaper abroad. I mean, Bayern Munich, for example, I think they pay something like 15 to 20 quid a ticket for the Champions League ticket. Yeah. But the thing is, though, it's the Premier League. They can charge you what they want. Do you know what I mean? So it's the biggest brand. It's a big brand, and that's why we got Pierre for that. But it is what it is. But there's nothing you can do about it. But there you go. And what's been your finest moments being a Newcastle fan? Your finest moment? It could be the best scores. It could be the best match.
You know, my wife and I were in. This is a Newcastle story as opposed to actually the club story, right? Because we you know, we love Geordies. We love to go to Newcastle, and we were there for the Southampton match. And the following week, we were supposed to watch the Arsenal match, and we were flying home the Sunday, and they moved the match back a day, so we couldn't go. And so we had this Saturday open when the Arsenal match was supposed to be, and we didn't really know what we were going to do. And we decided to just take the metro around and do a pub crawl at every stop. And we had such a wonderful time. We were overwhelmed. I don't think we really bought any beer. It was all bought for us by the Geordies. I met Kim at Benton. We were up in Monk Seaton. We just went around, and we finished at in Walker, and the lads there were just fantastic. And one of the Geordies that are here in Minnesota for the at Toon Army, Minnesota, he's actually from Walker. We met his best mate growing up in the pub. It was his football. So we had a fantastic time. So it's the most recent one. There's wonderful things I could tell you about the different matches. I remember my first one. I remember my last one. But I think the city of Newcastle and Geordies are even better, surprised, better in every way than even the club. I love Geordies, and I love going to Newcastle.
Fantastic. And I'm sure the people in the chat will love you more as well, including myself, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, look, end of the day, right? I mean, some managers as well. He's the best man. You said Kevin Keegan's your best manager. Would you say he's the greatest manager you've had? Or would you say Brian Robson, Jim Harvey, Eddie Howe, potentially?
Well, Joe Harvey's the only one that won anything, right? So, I mean, you have to give Joe Harvey props, and he needs a statue. I'm just saying the plaque on the side of the stadium doesn't do him justice. But the best one in as far as Keegan was absolutely so charismatic and bringing people in and getting the excitement, etc. Eddie Howe, I think there's more substance behind, not just Eddie but the whole club. There's more substance. You know, there's money behind it. You know, there's a plan. You know, it's going to happen for a long, long time. But I liked Rafa. I think Rafa, for what he did with the talent that he had, with the lack of spending, with the handcuffs that put on him by Ashley, I think that he really did overachieve for what he was given. And so I wouldn't say we had the best manager. Joe Harvey, I'd say number one, just because he brought trophies. Eddie Howe is my favorite. I certainly love Kevin Keegan, but I still hold it against him that he left when Shearer got all right. But I think for the talent that was given and standing up to the manager, being playing the politics that needed to be played, it was Rafa for me.
Rafa Benitez. Excuse me, Rafa Benitez. Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, got relegated, he stayed on and got us back up and stayed for another 2 more years before deciding that's enough. And Ashley, but guys, if you like the video, like what you see, please like, subscribe. If you like to super chat, it's open. If I'm doing a good job, cool. And if you like to come, remember, it's 99p. So just think about those people. Thank you very much indeed. Tom, are you going to the friendly games in America?
Yeah, originally, again, I was from Philadelphia originally, so I have to go see the Philly match.
Good man.
If anybody's going, just send me something. Love to have a pint with you. I know we're a lot of good. If you want to have the cheesesteaks, I know where to go. Also going to be going down to Atlanta. So I'll be at the Atlanta match as well that Wednesday. The Atlanta Toon Army is really arguably maybe the most passionate in all of America. I feel bad saying that, but they have a reputation of being so good. I went and watched a match there one time. I'm a member there, even though I'm not. I don't go to many matches, and they're fantastic. Dan Ailes, Miggy coming from Atlanta. There's a big following of Newcastle and Atlanta, so that match is going to be special. I think the actual the home base for the club is actually going to be Atlanta, so you have to go to that one. And then I won't be going to the New Jersey one just because I have a conflict. I do road rally racing. I have a road rally that weekend, so I'm going to do. I'll be racing that weekend, so I won't go to the third one.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I hope you're having a good time in Philadelphia as well, and Atlanta as well. If you get a trophy under Eddie, he will be one of our greats. I'm going to have to agree, Alan, because what he's done unbelievable things there. He's playing football the right way. It's entertaining. Get the players that sort of play for the guy, which is fantastic. And, we've got some good players there. And we're just going to involve every single season, if possible, if that makes sense. And going to touch on Alan Saint-Maximin. I mean, look, will he run? Will he stay? Will he go? I mean, do you think he'll eventually leave at the end of this season? Or do you think he's going to give it one more year?
It's a
hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's anybody's guess. He's a master, of social media and teasing people, etc. Listen, I think that he is a game changer, and he would be so big in the club as an impact sub, right? I think coming off the bench, he gives Eddie options, and he would scare the defense, and he could change things immediately. Does he want to be an impact sub? I don't think so. But if he wants to play, name me a Champions League team that he could go in and be a starter right away. I can't think of any of the big ones at any rate.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know. I mean, ASM, he has to stay. He has to stay. Because at the end of the day, if he goes, he got no one left on that position. Like Anthony Gordon can play there, but he's right-footed, and you got to play with Miggy. Can play on the left if he needs to be, but he's left-footed. So we definitely need a left-side midfield as well. That's what we need. But ASM, right, this is going to be his 5th year if he stays, right? I want to see one great season from him. He's got to do for 30, 36, 37 games a season. And he's got everything, but he has got an end product. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think that he doesn't have the stamina. I think it's the stamina that he can't play 90 minutes week in and week out. I just don't see it. So I think an impact sub, just like I think for Wilson, I think you need to limit his minutes. And they're both quality players. It's not anything to do with the skill, the quality, etc. And I think some people would argue with me I think he gets Eddie. I think that his game has changed under Eddie. But every time he starts to get a run, he gets hurt. So I think an impact sub would be fantastic if he chooses to do that. If not, I'd love to give, £50 million for him if we could do it, because that would change everything. And don't forget Joe Linton on that left wing. He's not classic, but he can cross in with both feet. He's powerful. He's good at dribbling. And the most important thing is he knows when to time his runs, which has frustrated me with Gordon. Gordon can't time his runs like Joe Linton can. for when Cher brings that cross into him. It's the games that I saw him play this year, gets frustrated when he's on the wing. So this summer, Gordon's going to get it, I hope. But if not, we certainly have Joe Linton that can play that position. If we're bringing in two quality midfielders, Joe Linton's one person that could play 45 matches a year. He's got the physique and the body to do that. So, So if he wants to stay as a sub, love to have ASM as a super sub. It would be fantastic. If he's not happy with that, I hope we can get a lot of money for him. And I hope he doesn't stay in England. Yeah,
absolutely. He's got to go abroad. I'm not sent to another English club. There's just no way. Absolutely no way. And ASM is a game changer, but have got to the point that I wish he'd just talk it on the pitch. I'm going to have to agree there, because he's doing too much social media. He's got to do it on the pitch as well. If he does that, then get on the games. I think it'd be fantastic. But for me, sometimes he's a world beater and sometimes he's an egg beater. I can't lie. I'm not going to lie, because at the end of the day, and also Alan's made a good point as well. He's so injury prone, he'll sell him.
Yeah, well, he's the he wears more bandages than the mummy when he goes out there, right? So he's he always looked like he's hurt, even when he's not hurt with all the bandages. Now, he's injury prone, but he also doesn't have the stamina to play the full 90 minutes. The last time that I saw him play full 90 plus minutes was against Wolves, and he played 92 minutes and pulled his hamstring or something after that. So you got to limit his minutes. So he's either going to start, play 60, or he's going to come in at the 60-minute mark. I would prefer that it's the super sub role.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. We've got another 15 minutes to go, peeps. If you've got any more questions to Alan, I'm sorry, Tom, please get the questions coming in as well. I've done a clip this morning about Cucurella for Chelsea. We've been linked to him, right? I mean, it cost 62 million quid. And now Chelsea is looking to sell him for half the price. Surely you can't take him.
I don't take him. I don't know what he gives over what we have now, except for depth and building out the squad. He does have some European, but I can't see it. I think there's a plethora of young backs that we should be grooming for that job. Spend the money in the midfield where we really need it. That's what needs to be done. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think Todd Boehly will sell him to a direct rival. And we consider ourselves a direct rival now to Chelsea. I don't think they'll do business in Newcastle. There's just no way. I just don't think they will. And personally, I wouldn't have him anywhere. I know people's going to say, sorry, that, he's good going forward. Cannot defend. That's the thing. And Alan said, excuse me, no way, keep it at Chelsea. And I think Alan's right. We don't need Chelsea cast-offs. We just do our own. Sadio Mane is asked yesterday about coming to Newcastle. He said, never say never. Yeah? Would you take Sadio Mane as well? I mean, for me, it's a hard one. I'd rather go for a younger player, but he's on mega bucks a week at Bayern Munich. And it's just no way you're going to pay 250, 280 a week to them.
You can't, right? If he would come in at the right wages, but he's not going to come in at the right wages. He wants the big payday too at the end of his career. So I can't see it happening. But would I love him? Absolutely. I love Mane. I think that he would change us in so many ways, especially going into Europe with his experience.
Yeah, he's Premier League title winner, Champions League title winner as well, and for me, he'd probably get command about 200k a week. At 31, I don't think so. I'd rather pay for a younger player as well to come in. He's going to do bits as well. And got one for Leslie as well. For me, Cucurella tends to pass back more than being on the front foot. Leslie, I've got to have to agree. It should be Cucurella because it Cucur shambles. Sorry. I'm just going to call it out there because, look, at the end of the day, he's not going to offer now to Newcastle on the... we got to raise the standards.
Yeah. Which is wages per week, too. I mean, they're up there as well, right? So, no, I think there's better options for sure.
He's got to be on like 200k a week.
He is.
Normally at Chelsea, do you know what I mean?
Easy 200k a week, yeah.
Spanish international as well, but hey, ho. But, so we talked about... the tickets of the Champions League. Just your take on the season tickets prices. I mean, there's been a meltdown as well. I mean, excuse me, mine's gone up 30 quid. And a lot of people are talking about memberships as well, saying that, you know, because I see ticket order, right? Discuss it tomorrow. I could buy an extra ticket, but they stopped it now. And I think that's right. I'm going to take my full version tomorrow about it. Do you know what I mean? Just talk about it and just see what they say. But it is what it is. But we're just going to move on for another time for tomorrow night. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Let's talk about excuse me, next season. I know it's way off yet, but the fixture list as well. The first 4 games is tough. We got to play Villa at home, Man City away, Liverpool at home, Brighton away. I think the Premier League's done this deliberately.
Yeah, well, I'm happy with it, to be honest, because we end up in May with a really easy schedule. So we know that Eddie Howe is going to have our guys fit together, ready to go. I don't think we're going to have a huge shakeup with our lineup. So I think getting big games early actually is better for us. A little strange that we're playing Villa 3 weeks after we play them in a friendly to kick off, but that's at home, right? So you got to think of a 5:30 match at St. James. It's going to be a crazy crowd. It's going to be very intimidating for Villa. Good squad, but we owe them, right? We owe them since our last match. Liverpool, City away is going to be your toughest match of the year. I don't care when you play them. That is the hardest game that we're going to play this year. And we played them early last year, gave them a run 3-3. Yeah. And I think that our starting 11 will match their starting 11. So do they have better players? Yes. But playing as a team, I think we're fantastic the way Eddie has us going. So will we get a point there? I would love a point. Don't know if we'd get a point, but I think we match up as well as anybody does against them. Liverpool's at home. We know we owe them big time. Can you imagine what the atmosphere is going to be like at St. James for that? So I like getting the big games out early. Let's see where we're at. Out of 12 points, can we get 6 or 7? Yeah, I think so. Can we get more? I'd like to think so, right? So we'll see where we're at. But I trust Eddie and I trust the lads, and I know they're going to be ready to play.
Yeah, very positive comments there, Tom. You know what I mean? It's got to be done. It's got to be positive at the end of the day. I'll look at the fixtures as well. Yes, it's going to be tough. We've got to beat Villa at home. We have to. And Man City's going to be difficult. Liverpool, we owe them one big style. Brighton away, if we could do them 4-1 again, that would be brilliant. But this is the Amex, by the way. That's going to be so difficult. I think De Zerbi has done a fantastic job there at this moment in time. Yeah. Caicedo could be on his way. I don't think he'll be at Brighton next season. They've got Mahuda as his replacement, but I just don't think he's going to be there next season. I'm afraid they lost McAllister too. So we'll see on that one. And go on, back to Leslie. Go on, mate.
I was just going to say it was tough for us to play there last year. I thought Brighton was one of our poorer performances at the beginning of the season. And, that one's going to be a worry for sure. Yeah. And the chat down below, our tickets gone up 3.3%. If you look at some of the other clubs, look what Forest happened. I mean, look at some of these clubs that went up huge amounts that I don't, again, I compare it to United States prices, very reasonable.
Yeah. Fair enough. And for me, 3 home wins and a draw with Man City 10 points. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be really good. Because after we got done the first 4 games, it drops down to the middle game. Sheffield United, I think we're at home in Sheffield United. And look, listen, at the end of the day, right? I mean, we got to be there. We're not scared of them anymore. We're not scared of teams anymore. We're just going to go there and they're going to compete. It's as simple as that. Because we'll give them a game now. We'll give them a great game. I mean, Bruno G, I tell you what, he's going to be key next season for us as well. Yeah. I mean, Sven Botman, that guy's a Rolls Royce of a defender. That guy is brilliant. He really is. Joe Willock, when he's fit, is coming looking the part. Sean Longstaff's looking the part. And if you look at it, right, I mean, we got some good players there. And I think we're going to do bits next season. I really do. Because if you're getting top 5, Champions League.
Yeah, you also have to think about the Champions League isn't starting until after this tough run of fixtures, right? So getting it early is actually, I think, to our advantages before we have too many games stacking on top of each other. So we can play our best starting 11 for 4 straight weeks. And I think that would make any opposing manager a little nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine if we beat Liverpool at home? I tell you something, right? I think we're gonna say to ourselves, thank God we beat these lot. Thank God. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd love to beat Liverpool. I really, really would. And one day we will beat Liverpool, right? Under Eddie Howe. And I mean under Eddie Howe. And he's going to be one happy man, I'm telling you.
Well, you know, arguably, we all have the opposing manager we can't stand, hate the most, etc. For me, it's Donkey Teeth Klopp. I can't stand him. I hate his attitude. I like the way he plays, but I hate him personally for his mannerisms, for what he says, for his. When we played we got screwed last year at Liverpool. His actions after that match, so we need to beat him, because if we don't beat Liverpool, it'll be such a disappointment that it'll cloud the season for me. That's how bad. And my oldest son, I got 3 sons. The oldest one is actually a Liverpool fan. I'm sorry, he's not in the will. When I die, he's not getting anything. He makes it kind of hard on me too when we watch the matches, etc. So I hate Liverpool. Liverpool at home early in the season, our best 11 in front of a very raucous St. James Park. War Flags is going to be going crazy. The players are going to be pumped up. I'm ready. I got that 3 points.
Cool.
It's on the book.
It's in the book. Let's beat Liverpool there. Let's smash them. For I care. Isak's going to be on fire. If ASM starts and he's up for it, he'll be on fire. Do you know what I mean? And let's do this. And probably a couple of new signings as well. We shall see. And Tom's hit the nail on the heat. We are a team, not individuals. And that's Leslie. And I love it next season to get the FA Cup. Final against Man U and lift the cup. I tell you what, that'd be a dream final, Newcastle Man U again. But this time we want revenge.
Oh yeah, it was just the wrong time of the season to play that match. I think that any other time, it was just tough. And of course, not having Pope, I think Pope not being between the sticks took a little wind out of the sails as well.
It did.
So yeah, I'd love to see that, Alan. I'm 100% with you. That'd be great to see.
Absolutely. Having to play Man City early, they're not at their best. I have to agree because they start slowly, Alan Gareth. They start so slowly, right? And then they just push on during the season. Do you know what I mean? Gundogan, he's gone. He's gone to Barcelona. He will do. And they could have kept him on for one more season, but that's going to be a massive hole to fill because Gundogan is a fantastic midfielder. He really is.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to have him on the fee and pay him what he wants, but he's always going to go to Barcelona. Good luck to him. And well said, Alan, as well. And I've got some shows tomorrow. I'm doing the Real Talk podcast tomorrow with Louise and Stuart. And Ian Sutcliffe's going to be in the house as well. They got a foursome. We're going to be talking about season ticket prices, memberships as well. We're going to talk about Joe Linton as well. So please keep your eyes peeled for that. For the times, I'm going to do the time start for tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that, people. So got one here for Chesley as well. So I was going to say, you said about 5 players going to come through. Who would you buy? Name one player you bring in that can make a difference in the summer.
Well, we talked about him already. Barilla as a holding midfielder, I think that changes everything on the whole pitch for the better. So he would be my number 1 player for sure. And I think at £75 million, I think it's doable. So I think that would be huge. Yeah,
absolutely right. I'm going to say Barilla as well. He's top of the shots in. But I tell you what, if Liverpool came in for him or Chelsea came in for him, they put offers as well. We got to be there as well. We made it first. And the thing is, though, if he went to Liverpool, he'd probably be in the first team. If he went to Chelsea, he might be in the first team. Because at the end of the day, Chelsea are a mess. They are a mess. Newcastle, he'll get games every week. However, would he be a big name? Will he get lots of social media attractions, not just in Newcastle? Will he get it worldwide? That's the problem.
Yeah, well, Chelsea isn't playing European football next year, right? So they're a mess, but they're also not going to be on the big stage, at least for a season. They certainly have enough talent there, and they're going to sell some players and get their financials in order. Liverpool isn't playing top. They're not in the Champions League this year. They just got McAllister. They have some other players. They're linked to every midfielder in Europe, I think. Newcastle, we don't know what Newcastle is doing, right? We talked about the cone of silence, which is a great thing to do.
Yeah.
But they usually go back in, right? So if a Diaby came, that would surprise me. If Madison is certainly be surprised if he didn't come in at this point. So we'll see what happens. I trust the process and trust the team in charge.
Cool. That's all I love to hear. That's all we love to hear. So before you go wrap up the show, right, as well, but you're going to wrap up the show in a bit. But where do you expect us to finish next season? I know it's a bit early, but where do you think we'll finish next year?
It depends on what we bring in for depth, So we're going to play 55 matches maybe next year. Maybe we make a run in the cups. It'll be more than that. It's going to be a lot of football next year, and we have legitimately, I think, 15 players right now that are worthy of starting. So 7 players. You want to have 2 11s, right? To be able to be able to compete week in and week out. We're not going to do that. So we have to make some choices. You make choices in the Cups, you make choices in the Champions League, you make choices in the Premier League. I think Premier League is probably going to be about 6. If we do better than 6, I would be surprised, but I'd love to get a good cup run in. Yeah. And I'd like to win the trophy. I want some silverware back in at back time side.
Fantastic. Good answer. Chelsea relegated Liverpool next season would be great. I tell you what, without Tuchel winning a couple of games, they could have been relegated, Chelsea. That'd be embarrassing. 600 million and not put a striker in. Wow. You'd be a great guest, Tom. Thanks for joining. Absolutely. Tom's been brilliant today. He really, really has. And on that bombshell, you've got to end the close to shore. And Tom, first off, did you enjoy coming on?
Yeah, it did. It's really nice, John. I think your class.
Finally.
Yeah. So I appreciate your patience with me, working around my race schedule, etc. And thanks. It's been brilliant. Looking forward to seeing you next time I'm in Tyneside.
Fantastic. I would love that. So I'll get an interview with you as well for a couple of minutes interview as well. And I will be up there as well. And also I got Tom's great banter, John and Tom, plus the chat. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. And take care, Alan, to Leslie as well. So guys, go wrap the show. And can you tell us where we can find you, please, Tom? Where can we find you for any shows? You go on other people's shows and Twitter?
No, I don't do a whole lot, to be honest. I'm on the mag, the fanzine that I go on to. I follow people on Twitter. I reply. I've got some things going on Facebook, but really nothing big. Best way to get me is Toon Army, Minnesota. It's a great bunch of people. John, when you do your podcast from the United States, it's going to be in Minneapolis, and we're going to bring you there, and you're going to have a fantastic time. It's a wonderful place, nice city, and really a good bunch of guys.
Fantastic. Well, it's going to have to be next year now. If it go back next year, I'll be there. I will be there. And I'll make sure I don't book off any holidays. I'll be there. And I'm going to find a way of doing it. So I'd love to. If I go to America and I see you, cool. I'll be there.
Sounds good.
And don't go away yet, because I'll have you backstage as well. Never to Saudi League. I think a lot more players will be more tempted to the Saudi off-ad. We've got to be another commentator for players now. Do you know what it is, Avenger, right? Look at the Chinese Super League. That didn't quite work, didn't it? It didn't quite work at all. The Saudis will. The Saudis, once that league's come up, that will never be defunct. Never. Because too much money. Look at the golf. Look at the golf. Simple. And no, there's an offer, John. Is that for America? Could be America. No, there's an offer. No, John. Sorry, Leslie. I lost you. But is it about Neves? It could be about Neves to the game. So you go. Sorry about that. Yeah. So this Saudi, quickly, right? The Saudi league. I think it's there to stay.
Yeah, but they don't really have the population to support a big league, right? So if you want to play in front of big raucous crowds, if you want to play under the beautiful weather of Northeast England, that was a joke. I don't think that there's really. Would you want to play there? I know the money is huge, but how many millions do you need, right? How many millions do you need? I don't think I'd want to play there. I get it. I'm at the twilight of my career. I want a big payday. I can see players going there for that. But I can't see players in the prime going to the Saudi League.
Yeah, I think so happen. Back to Leslie's comment. I do apologize, Leslie. There's an offer, John. Yeah, offer from you to come to Minnesota. I'd love to do that, mate. I'd love to do that. And that'll be next year. So if you play Minnesota or wherever you're at, Philadelphia again,
yeah,
I'll definitely come over. And thank you so much for the offer. I would definitely do that.
Excellent.
So guys, you're going to wrap the closer short, but thank you very much indeed, chats. Thank you, Tom, as well. And if you do want to follow Tom, it's Nuki Boon 123. He's also on the mag, and he's also on Twitter as well. The link's in the description as well, and do that as well. Follow him as well. He'll follow you back, I'm sure. And I'll be back tomorrow for the Real Talk podcast show with Louis, Stuart, and Ian as well. We're going to talk about the season ticket prices. We're going to talk about memberships as well. We're going to talk about Joe Linton for sure as well. Times to be discussed. And guys, like, subscribe. And as always, away the Toon. Away the lads.